If you sell a product or you sell any kind of services online and you want more customers, you want more clients, you want more sales, right? This is going to be one of the most important videos that you will watch that's going to teach you how to sell effectively, right? And here's the thing. The message is the most important thing, and this is why everything comes down to copy. And copy are just words. The words that is just the words that you communicate with people to lead them to take the action that you want. Whether that is becoming a customer, whether that's putting a name in an email, it's all to do with copy. And the most important thing is your messaging. Whether you're advertising on your website, you're on a sales call, is the message was what connects with the audience and once convinces them to believe what you believe or take the action that you want them to take, right? So it all comes down to the message, right? When you're advertising or anything, or when you're trying to promote your products, right? Or you're posting content and maybe you're not getting enough views, right? Maybe you're not getting enough customers. There's nothing wrong with the algorithm, right? The algorithm is just a medium. The message is what connects with the audience. Is the message the most important thing is what connects to the audience and is the bridge between getting people to do what you want them to do, right? And that's what we're going to cover in this video. And if you stay to the end of this video, you will learn exactly how we have generated, and I have generated personally for my clients, millions of dollars in sales, right? I'm over 5 years in marketing right now. I've been selling products online since I was 14 years old. I have spent close to 20,000 in online courses, coaching, training, and what I've done is collected all of that key information. I've also spent, I have a marketing agency. If you don't know who I am, my name is Aya. I run a growth partner marketing agency. We help people get more customers, get more clients. We spend hundreds of thousands in ads as well. And what I've done is combine all of that experience, all of that data that we've acquired, and I'm going to share that in this video as the best practices that anyone can apply to get more customers. And the great thing about this is you don't need to be an amazing copywriter, right? Copywriter is not about you necessarily writing. It's assembled. It's taking pieces of what already exists and putting them together in new and different ways, right? And with AI as well, you can use this to develop, to work even quicker and develop great ideas because you have a personal assistant that can actually help you come up with really high engaging copy to connect, to help you sell more product, right? And without further ado, that's what we're gonna go cover in this video. So let's go. So the first thing is your headlines, right? The most important thing is your headline, because at the end of the day, if you don't capture attention, you can't sell to anybody, right? So the headline and the hook, so the first 3-4 seconds of the video, or your headline, the headline and creative, that is one of the most important things. That's where we actually spend the most time, because if people don't, if your headline doesn't connect, if you don't capture people's attention, the rest of your copy, it doesn't matter because people never see it, right? So let me minimize myself. Right, so the purpose of the headline and the hook is to capture attention, right? So what makes a good headline? Well, a good headline sparks curiosity enough to learn more. The only objective of your headline is to capture attention and get people curious enough to click, to read on or click, right? If you don't have people's attention, you can't sell, so this is the most important part of your messaging, right? So in terms of headlines, you can target different parts of the value equation. So the dream outcome, perceived likelihood of achievement, time delay, effort, and sacrifice. If you don't know what the dream outcome is this template by Hermosi that shows how you make an offer valuable, right? So let's go in here. So there's different types of headline formulas that you can use, and you can start putting this into AI to help you generate ideas as well. I don't get AI to do everything for me, but nowadays I've teaching people in my team, people in my team, my copywriters, to use AI to generate ideas. But if you have a trained eye, you know what inputs to get the best outputs out of the AI, and you know what is a good output and what is a good headline, right? So here are different headline formulas. I'm going to show you exactly the different examples of this going forward as well, right? So X result in Y time. So clear 10 years of acne in 7 days, right? X result, big result in a very short amount of time. And this targets, the outcome of, a dream outcome with a short time delay. And what you learn as well, if you want to make your headlines even more powerful, you can start actually mix and matching and combining this. You can't use everything at one time, but you can start using different elements and putting them together to make a really, really powerful and strong headline, right? The target audience call out. So you can call out, hey, mums with kids with ADHD, right? Mums with kids with ADHD. That's a target audience call out, right? So it can be, when you talk about target audience, it could be like the demographic of people, right? Their characteristics or their problem, right? Okay, next one is target pain and problem, right? So let's say if you suffer with hyperpigmentation, right? I'm going to give you more examples further on, but to show, right? Ridiculous result, right? So I gained 50 pounds of muscle in 7 days. Ridiculous result, captures attention, right? A listicle, so a listicle would be like, 5 reasons why mums love this buggy, for example, right? A calibrated question, so a question that gets people to think, right? What would you do with an extra $100,000, right? As soon as a question is asked, your brain automatically wants to answer it, right? So that's why calibrated questions are really good. How? So yeah, how I made 50,000 this week. It sparks curiosity. You can see how all of these headlines are to do with sparking curiosity, right? Because the whole objective is to get them to read and learn more, right? The dream outcome with this mechanism. So I'm going to give you an example of that further down. So dream outcome, how I solved this problem using this little, this unique system, for example, right? Do this for X result, right? Yeah, do this for X result. Study this book to make 100,000 this year, right? This was just doing like a comparison, right? A story angle, that just introduces you to a unique story, and a big offer, so you can like buy one get one free, that kind of stuff, right? So just to walk through some examples, right? 30 years of business knowledge in 2 hours 26 minutes. So the great thing about this, these headlines can come in different ways. In this examples, what's really great is I took it from all different places. So it took me a lot of time to assemble. So you need to appreciate this video because I put a lot of time and effort into this. So I studied YouTube headlines and thumbnails. I went into advertising and studied the headlines there. I studied headlines and all the copy from landing pages. So all of the examples I'm giving you come from different types of mediums to connect with an audience, whether that's a YouTube video, whether that's a landing page, whether that's an ad, right? So 30 years of business knowledge in 2 hours, 26 minutes. So this is done by this guy called Simon Squibb, and it's one of his top performing videos, and I've seen a lot of people in the industry start to model this as well. But this is the video.
I am good at
and you can see
business.
This video got 10 million views. It was posted 11 months ago. 30 years of business knowledge in 2 hours 26, and this is an example of X result in Y time, right? You get this big, massive piece of value in a short amount of time. Dream outcome, short time delay. Are we seeing this, right? Cool. Next one is 12 years of acne and pimples. Pimples gone in 9 days. So let's open this up, right? And you can see this headline too. So you can see that Norse Organics, 12 years of acne and pimples went in 9 days. This ad ran longer than a year, guys. What does that mean? Well, no one runs an ad for a long period of time if it's not making them money. So how much money do you think this guy, this ad made them, right? So really, and literally, the creative is literally just big headline, a visual, and a product. Nothing complicated, but this is what I mean. The messaging is the most important thing. Here's another example. This cleared his itching in 2 days. This ad also ran for almost close to a year, right? X result in Y time. So, next one, how? So here's another example: how luxury brands brainwash you to buy. Right? Isn't that curious? Isn't that hitting on the curiosity aspect? You can see how all of these headlines spark curiosity for you to learn more, right? Because it creates an information gap. An information gap is, well, you've given them a question, you've given them a proposition, but they don't actually know what it is. So they have to learn, they have to read or watch or consume the information to learn more, right? So here's one. Here's one: how luxury brands brainwash you to buy, and this did 3 million views, guys. How luxury brands brainwash you to buy. Isn't that a curious? Wouldn't you want to know that, right? Aren't you curious about that? How to use AI for electrical contractors, right? And you can see this is an example of not just a how, but this is a target audience call out, isn't it? Because look, he's saying electrical contractors. He's speaking to a specific categorization of people, right? So here's one: how to use AI for electrical contractors, ran for 161 days, right? So you can see how you can start putting these headlines together to make it even more powerful headline, right? So how my skin went from this to this. Right? And this is not in a headline format, but it's in a hook format. So that's what I'm saying. I want to give you as many different examples as possible to show you how all of these things can be applied, right?
How my skin went from this to this.
Right? And you can see how that sparks curiosity, because if you have a skin issue or a skin problem similar to hers, you want to know what she did to get rid of it, right?
How my skin went from this to this.
Ran for 129 days, right? Cool. Target audience call out. I'm 45. Starting to get old wrinkles around the eyes. Look. And this is an example on video, right? So how is this a call out? Because she says her age. They're targeting people with the same likeness, right? Look, this ran for over a year, right?
I'm 46, starting to get the old wrinkles around the eyes, blemishes and pigmentation.
Boom, right? And what's this an example of? Target audience call out, and then the target pain and problem, right? So I'm 46, starting to get an old wrinkle around the eyes, pimples, hyperpigmentation, right? And this ad is getting pushed out to people who fit that exact demographic. So you can see how that calls out to people, right? And it's not even just in what she says in terms of like she's 46, it's her herself. Her herself is a call out because she has the same likeness as the audience that she's speaking to, right? So they do call out in multiple different ways here, with the likeness of the person, with the what she says, right? A 46, so it connects with that audience, right? And the problem that she's dealing with too.
Starting to get the old wrinkles around the eye.
So you can see how you can start combining these things to have a really powerful call out, right? Okay. Next one. Mums of teenagers with acne. Mums of teenagers, right? Target audience, mums of teenagers, very specific. If you're a mum that has a teenager, you're probably going to, you're probably going to pay attention to that ad, right? Your son's biggest wish, acne-free and glowing skin. How's this again? How's this targeting? It's targeting, well, your son's biggest wish, right? So your son is targeting parents. That can either be male or, the mothers or the dads, but it's targeting parents because it's talking about your son. Your son's biggest wish, right? Your son's biggest wish, acne-free and glowing skin. And you can see this ad ran for literally like close to a year, guys. And look, the creative isn't crazy, but the messaging is the most important thing. This is why these ads can run for a long time, because the message connects. I really want to drill this down and get this through your minds, because so many people are worried about the editing, or they're worried about how things really look, and like all of those things. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. It does matter, but nothing matters more than your message when it comes to marketing, when it comes to advertising, when it comes to copywriting, when it comes to making videos, nothing matters more than the messaging. Right, cool. Do this for X result. So do this to make 100,000, 10,000 as a student, right? And then what's this an example of?
Absolutely everyone.
Right? 7 million views on this by Iman Gadzi, right? So this is an example of, this is also, right? So do this for X result, right? Perfect example of this, right? Make 10,000. And then also, this is also a target audience call out because it says as a student, right? Very specific demographics. So you can see how when you start combining these different elements, it makes some really powerful headlines that can capture a really large pool of attention because this got 7 million views fucking organically. You know how crazy that is? Do you know how much you need to spend in ad spend to get 7 million views on a video? Depending on how good that ad is, that's easily $300, $400, $500,000, right? If you're targeting the US. Okay, 3 things to book 100 calls per week as an agency owner, right?
Hey,
This
Serge.
one,
Hey, what's up?
this one, 100,000 views 2 years ago, right? 3 things, right? So do this for X result, right? 3 things to book 100 calls per week as an agency owner, right? And then this is a combination of this and then the target audience call out as well, right? From 0 to mil a year, do this, right? Cool. So next one, target pain and problem, right? Stop embarrassing acne in days, right? I can see how they use this on their landing page. Stop embarrassing acne in days, right? If you want to make your headlines even more powerful, guys, target emotions, right? Target emotions because emotions is what drives action. It's what drives our behavior, right? It's all emotions. How you act when you're happy or how you act when you're sad is different. Emotions drive behavior, right? So if you want people to take action, target emotions, right? And pain is a powerful motivator in terms of emotions, right? So stop embarrassing acne in days, right? People who have acne, they feel embarrassed. They don't feel comfortable going out because they feel insecure about this problem that they have on their face, right? So stop embarrassing acne in days. It's a very short but powerful headline because it's targeting a pain problem and it's giving them the result in days. So that's a target pain. And guess what, guys? This is also an example of X result in Y time. You can see how you can start combining these guys to start making really powerful headlines, right? So this is another one.
It hurts my heart to see Kevin flaring up and itching all the time, and there's nothing that I can do to help him. Kevin had...
Boom. What a powerful hook. Target pain and problem. So this is also an example of like a story angle too, right? So you can see they're similar. Where you can say, it hurts my heart to see Kevin flaring up and itching all the time and there's nothing I can do to help him, right? So they're targeting in many different ways, right? So they're using the likeness of the target audience because they try and target parents who want to do this for their kids, right? Really big, and especially mums too, right? Because mums, they're nurturing by nature. Well, they should be anyway, right? So they want to help. They have a primal, feelings that are trying to help their children. And they do a wonderful job of targeting them because even though these are probably most likely actors, you can see this is presented like as a mum. It hurts my heart to see my son suffering, right? This ad ran for 2 years, guys, right? And you can see why. You can see how they're targeting pain points and they're targeting emotions. In the first 5 seconds,
itching all the time, and there's nothing that I can do to help him.
It hurts my heart to see Kevin itching all the time. So they're targeting the pain and problem. They make it emotional as well. Cool. I had to put quite a lot of makeup to get enough confidence to leave the house. Isn't that targeting a pain and a problem, right? You know how isn't that triggering an emotion? How many women can relate to that, right? Because women, especially, are insecure because they're very judged on their perception. They're very judged on their beauty, right? And they hold a lot of, value in that. So if their skin's not nice or they have acne or have a certain skin problem, right? How many women can relate to, I have to put quite a lot of makeup on to feel confident to leave the house, right? And that's a painful problem for them. You can see how these headlines are really, really powerful, right? Let's play this. Hope you guys are getting a lot of value from this, because this is, if you know how to, I'm showing you different ways and different examples, so you know the different ways that you can apply this, because you want to use copywriting is literally the connection between all of everything that you do in your marketing funnels, in your advertising, in your sales calls, everything, right? This is why it's so important.
I have to put quite a lot of makeup on to get enough confidence to leave the house.
Right? Right? So, we're focusing on copy, but also, I want to give you even more than that, right? Because they're targeting, with their headlines and a hook, they're hooking people in different ways, because also they're using the same likeness, right? So,
I have to put quite a lot of makeup on
to leave the house, and it's showing her with pimples and stuff. It's showing the problem that's very relatable to people. And then it says the copy, with the words that she says, I have to put quite a lot of makeup on to have enough confidence to leave the house, right? How much more powerful is this then? If you want to clear your pimples, use this, right? This triggers emotions. This targets pain. This drives action, right? This versus this. So Mr. Beast does this really, really well. So $1,000 plus a $500,000 plane ticket. Like, you can see how this has a massive curiosity, like, sparks a lot of curiosity, because it's such a big comparison. It's such a big comparison that you want to learn more, right? $1 versus a $500 plane ticket, right? Let's play this.
We're going to fly on this jet that costs $500,000 per flight. And we're also going to fly on this $25,000 private jet, a $10,000 first.
Right? This got 465 million views, right? Do you think Mr. Beast knows some things about capturing your attention, right? It's another one. So he's done this. These are some of his highest views videos, right? And it's there for a reason, because it sparks a lot of curiosity, but it sparks a lot of clicks, you know what I'm saying? So this is 444 million views.
$1 billion super yacht. And it's big enough to hold an entire city on the water. How do you...
Right? Boom. And it's another one. $1,000 plus $1 plus versus a $1 million hotel room, right? Next one is ridiculous results, right? It's boring, but it will make even beginners millionaires in 2025. That's a ridiculous result. Even beginners millionaires. And then what does that do as well? It targets on the dream outcome. The dream outcome, which is to become a millionaire, right? And this is another one by Iman Gadzi.
So, here is the raw...
And it's got 1.7 million views organically, guys. 1.7, right? Another one. I found a product that's about to make its sex life 10 times better. Does that not spark curiosity? Like, come on, guys. Does not spark curiosity? I found a product that's going to make your sex life 10 times better, right? Big, ridiculous result. And that, what does it do? It captures attention. And what does it do? It sparks curiosity. And what does it do? It makes you want to read and watch on.
I found the product that is going to make your sex life 10 times better.
Right? This ran 144 days. Right? Stop acne in 5 days without Accutane. Big, powerful headline, and then in a very, very short time frame. Right? Stop acne in 5 days without Accutane. Big result. And you can see how simple their ads are, right? You don't need to spend. This is the thing. People are so confused. They think they need to spend hundreds in mass production, or you need to record this at a studio, or do this and this. These guys have a static image with a headline, a really powerful headline, and they're having ads run for 188 days, right? Whereas other people are spending hundreds and thousands on UGC creators for videos that don't even convert. Why? Well, they're missing the link, which is the messaging, right? Cool. Story angle. I was very skeptical skeptical, we are ready for Accutane, right? This is telling a story. This introduces a story. Powerful. Right, 200. This ran for 277 days, guys, right? This is one of my favorite ads because we made this for one of our clients, actually. So I'm going to show you an example. And how does this tell a story? Okay, responding to hate comments about my skincare brand. Does that not spark curiosity, guys? Right? So this ad is currently a winning ad for us. It's been running longer than 70 days, right? And what does that tell you? Well, it's making us money, right? So responding to hate comments about my skincare brand.
So I saw this not so nice comment from one of our ads from a lady named Jador, and her comment wasn't so adorable, but
right. And there's another one. When doctors feel rotten, this is what they do. Would you not want to know what doctors do when they feel rotten, right? Okay. Listicles. So, listicles, 7 principles for teenagers to become millionaires, right? 7 principles. This is an example of a listicle, but what's also the example of as well? It's also an example of a target audience call out, right? Boom. Here's another Imran Gatti video. 6.2 million views. Five reasons why this turmeric soap faded my dark spots when nothing else would. Right? 5 reasons why this turmeric soap faded my dark spots when It's an example of a listicle, and it's an example of a target, target pain and problem. Right? So you can see how people are starting to, when you start to actually combine these, you make really powerful headlines that's going to drive conversions, it's going to capture more attention, it's going to spark more curiosity and get more people to consume your content, consume your advertising copy, whatever it is that's going to eventually lead them into making a conversion, right? 3 ways. 3 ways 47 skin help my dark spots and blemishes, right?
3 ways 47 skin help my spots and blemishes. First,
boom, another example of a listicle. Big offer, right? All items £10. Boom. Buy one, get one free. You guys have probably seen this before, and does this not capture your attention? It's a big offer. It's going to drive results, right? And this is what people use on like their Black Fridays or whatever holiday sales that they're doing. They tend to use like a big offer, big headline, because that captures attention. Because it's like, well, I can get a really big deal here, right? So buy one, get one free. You can see here, all items £10. Cool, right? Calibrated question. Well, this works well because, we talked about this. Like, what does it do? When you're asked a question, your brain automatically tries to find an answer to it, right? So, boom. Another one of Mr. Beast's videos. 349 million views. Would you sit in snakes worth for $10,000, right? Does that not spark curiosity, right? Here's another example in a really powerful hook by Sabri Subi.
So instead of telling you what goes into a selling system, what if I just handed you a proven selling system that you could use straight away to consistently and predictably get more clients?
Right? Powerful. Calibrated question. What if I just gave you this thing? What if I just did this? And then this is also an example of, a big offer too, right? What if I handed you a proven selling system that you can use right away to predictably get more clients? It's a calibrated question, right? Because you want to answer it. And then it's also an example of a big offer because it's giving you this. He's literally handing it to you, right? Next one. Who else wants a screen star figure, right? Next. Dream outcome with mechanism. So, amazing new diet pill burns more calories than running 3 hours on a treadmill. Would you not want to know what this is? Especially if you want to lose weight. Would you not want to know what this diet pill, just a simple pill that can help you avoid doing much work? And this is an example of, again, if you scroll up, you're seeing hitting the dream outcome, right? And then with little, so this is an example of trying to get the dream outcome with little effort and sacrifice, right? So if you come down here, again, amazing new diet pill burns more calories than running 3 hours on a treadmill, right? Another one, how to use my subconscious selling method for webinars or challenges to get cold audiences to say, take my money now. This is an example of, boom, a how, right? And this is an example of also, ridiculous result too, right? How to get cold, because because these cold audience, if you know what cold audience is, or you need to marketing, right? Cold audience is just people who are unaware of you, have never heard of you before, right? How to use my subconscious selling method. So this is the mechanism, right? This is the mechanism. Use my subconscious selling method. Boom, mechanism. For your webinars or challenges to get cold audiences to say, take my money now. That's a ridiculous result because you're trying to get strangers to give you money on day one. And this is done by a marketing guru and legend, Russell Brunson. All right, so they've changed the headline on this, right? So they've probably been testing it. And this is another thing that is you want to be testing your headlines all the time, because this is a high impact thing to test that's actually going to dramatically change the results that you see from your ads, from your landing pages, exactly. So when I actually put this on there, it did say subconscious selling, but what's likely happened is they've tested the multiple headlines, split tested multiple headlines, and found this to be a winner, right? Which was an example. So okay, let's do a little challenge, guys. What is this headline an example of? Right? X result in Y time. It's just flipped the other way around. Give me 3 days and I'll show you step by step how to sell anything online. Right? So is Y time in X result in a way, right? Cool. Right? There's another one. Complete hormone balancing system. Works in 9 days. Example of a dream outcome. So a hormone balancing system, the actual dream outcome is within the mechanism, right? Complete hormone balancing system. And this is also an example of X result in Y time. You can see how, guys, when you start combining this, you get such really powerful headlines, such really powerful messaging that's going to drive action, that's going to drive conversions, that's going to drive consumption, right? Cool. Right. And this, right, is examples of how you write winning headlines, right? So I'm going to combine this with the rest of this video. This is going to be part 1 of the video, right? And we spent a lot of time on these headlines and hooks because this is one of the most important things that's going to dramatically change the results you get. And this is one of the things that you want to test the most of, because this is what's going to drive the most results. So that's the first half of this video and this masterclass. The second half will be going into the rest of the copy. So the next part, once you've captured people's attention now, you have that intention for a short, briefer time. What you want to do next is, so these are the common principles, right? Not every marketing message needs to follow this exact format, but this is typically the format you want to follow to get the best results, basically, right? So next thing I split it up is the lead, right? So the lead is just after the headline, right? And then the purpose of the lead is to get people to commit to consuming the rest of the copy, right? Because now you spark the curiosity for a short amount of time. Now you want to retain it. You've captured their attention. Now you want to retain their attention to commit them to consuming the rest of your marketing material, whether that be on your landing pages, whether that be in your advertising, whether that be a YouTube video, right? So yeah, while you have their attention, you'll need to continue to increase their curiosity, show them what's in it for them, right? You want to give them a benefit for actually watching the rest of the video, right? So you want to show them what's in it for them if they continue to consume the rest of the copy content, whether that be in the written format or video. So how do you get them to stay and hold their attention, right? So this is an example. So a promise without the pain. So a promise of getting a gain without the typical problems and issues faced. Again, when we go back, When we go back to the top, we want to see how is this hitting on the dream outcomes, right? The dream outcome without effort and sacrifice, right? So you're still using elements of the hook to continue keeping their attention throughout the video or whatever marketing material that you have. So this is an example from Sabri Subi. Give you a selling system to get more clients, so you don't have to write email, copy, opt-in page copy, long form copy, or designing pages, so you don't have to worry about getting it wrong. So here's an example. So it's on the previous ad that we were, literally the most recent ad that we were watching. It will show how he gets people to commit to consuming the rest of his marketing material, right? This ad ran for over a year. What does that mean? Well, it's likely making them money, right?
So instead of telling you what goes into a selling system, what if I just handed you a proven selling system that you could use straight away to consistently and predictably get more clients?
So that was the hook. Now, this is the lead.
So you won't have to write email copy. You won't have to write opt-in page copy. You won't have to write long-form landing page copy. You won't have to come up with the designs of the pages, and you won't even have to code up the pages itself. And that means that you'll never have to worry about getting it wrong. And we called it the sales funnel bundle.
Right? Now he gets you to, so now he's got your attention. He increases your curiosity and shows what's in it for you to commit to consuming the rest of the information. This is what's going to be in it for you to watch the rest of his marketing material, right? Next, the promise of a payoff, right? So what are they going, so this is an example. So what are they actually going to gain by consuming the content, right? Okay, very similar to that one. And this is an example. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to show you 2 KPIs that I track with my video ads and students, and my students and clients. So after this video, you can run video ads, right? A clear benefit of what you are going to gain by watching the rest of the video. So here's an example.
You guys know I love me some video ads, but how do you measure whether or not those video ads are actually performing? And then next,
so that's their hook. How do you measure if the video ads is actually performing?
How do you measure whether or not those video ads are actually performing? In the next 3 minutes, you are going to learn the 2 KPIs or key performance indicators that I track with my video ads and also my students and my clients. And so after you watch this video, you're going to be able to go and run video ads, because guys, if you're not running any type of video ads, you are missing the ball on this. This is the best time to get into video advertising. More people
Boom.
are glued to their phones, absorbing all of that content now more than ever, and it is the best way to build a sustainable brand long term. My name is Laurel.
Boom. Before she introduces herself 40 seconds into the video, but before that, she first captures your attention and then gives you a reason to actually stay and consume the rest of the video before she introduces herself, right? And if you notice, I did the same thing in this video too. I was very clear on, okay, if you sell something online and you're looking for more sales and you're looking for more customers, this is going to be one of the most important videos that you'll watch. I gave you a very clear reason to actually consume the rest of the video, right? Cool. Next, start in pain. So you can also, right, commit them to consume by increasing their pain and expanding on their problems, right? Because you're targeting and you're triggering their emotions. And that's going to cause them to commit to consuming the rest of the information, right? Because you've made a shift in their emotions, you've triggered their emotions, so they have more desire to actually watch the rest of the video, right? And this is great with like sharing a relatable story, but just by describing their problems in detail. So it works well, yeah, like I said, it works well because it triggers their emotions, which causes them to continue to watch. And this was done really, really well in that eczema video. It's that eczema honey video where it says Kevin had terrible acne, itches his birth, he was constantly had flares, scratches non-stop at night. I tried everything from oxygen, I don't know how to say that word, and creams and nothing, right? So let's go into that. Example again.
It hurts my heart to see Kevin flaring up and itching all the time, and there's nothing that I can do to help him.
Boom, we've got the hook, and this is how this is their lead, right?
Kevin had terrible eczema and itchiness since birth. He was constantly flared and scratched non-stop at night. I tried everything from corticosteroids and other creams, and nothing really worked. Then,
boom. They commit you to consuming the video by triggering and expanding on your problems, right? Here's another one. If you want to create a downpour of, so this is speaking to the target customers and then giving them a promise for consuming the information. If you want to create a torrential downpour of customers to flood your business and literally demand that you sell them your products and services, then this will be the most important book you ever read, right? Boom. What a way to start off the video. So, boom. It's got the headlines and stuff. Let's go down here. Right, and then in the opening, the lead, so after it captures the attention, right, with this headline, the lead is, if you want to create a torrential downpour of customers to flood your business, right? Doesn't this give you what's in it for you for watching for reading and consuming his content and consuming the marketing material, right? If you want to create a torrential downpour of customers that flood your business, literally demand that you sell their products and services, this will be the most important book you read. Here's why. And then he introduces himself, right? Whereas a lot of people, they start off introducing themselves first, but no one really gives a fuck about you until you show them what's in it for them, right? Okay. The next step is our body copy and your stories, right? So the purpose of the body copy, which is basically the main part of your marketing material, the middle of your marketing material, is there to increase the desire. So now you've captured their attention, you've now retained their attention and given them a reason to actually consume the rest of your video, right? Now you're holding their attention. You now want to increase their desire and then shift beliefs so that is aligned to what you're going to sell them later on down the line, right? So it's a very important thing that you want to pay attention to is that facts tell, stories sell. Fact tells, stories sell. So people are convinced without resistance when they feel they've came to a conclusion on their own. Your job is not to argue your point, but lead people with stories, calibrated questions, proof, to guide their thinking to the conclusion that you want. Let me read that again. People are convinced without resistance when they feel that they've come to the conclusion on their own. Your job is not to argue your point, but lead people with stories, calibrated questions, proof, to guide their thinking to the conclusion that you want. That's powerful, right? I'll tattoo that into your skull mentally when it comes to marketing, because that's one of the most important things. You can go on and on about how great your product is, right? And people automatically have resistance to it because they feel like, prove it, right? And this is why they say people people hate being sold to but love to buy, right? Because when they feel like they've come to the conclusion on their own, right? They're happy to buy it, right? They want you to share your products and services. When they feel like they're being sold to or they're convinced against their will, that's when there's resistance, right? So the biggest reasons why people don't buy is that it's actually really two sides of the same coin. They don't trust you enough and they don't believe you enough, right? So your job is to present all different types of proof to validate your point, shift their beliefs to one that's aligned with the benefits of your product and service, right? And the benefit that you're going to sell them. So in your body copy and everything is also great ways to overcome common objections that will stop people from buying, right? If you're solving a product, if you have a product that's solving a problem, right, there's a very, very good high chance that people have already tried things previously that didn't work out for them, right? So people build up a resistance because, you know, they've tried different things and they didn't get the result that they want. And they automatically have more resistance and more skepticism to new things that promising the same problem, right? That promising the same outcome or promising to solve the same problem, right? So in the middle of your copy is actually a great way to overcome people's objections, right? So this is what you should include: elements of the value equation, so the dream outcome, perceived likelihood of achievement, time delay, effort, and sacrifice, and then conversion elements as well. How do you increase how do you show your credibility? How do you give them a good offer that's going to drive action for them to take action now? How do you overcome objections? What social proof do you have? Like, how do you get your customers and people and clients to sell your products for you, right? How easy do you present the offer to be? And what is the result that they're going to get from using this, right? So in the body company, you want to promise an ideal outcome, right? From that they can expect from using your products or service, right? Include proof and testimonials to actually validate the big claim that you made. Because again, once you make a claim, people automatically want you to prove it, right? So you want to include testimonials, reviews, scientific evidence, whatever different types of proof to back up your promise and increase the believability, right? And then you want to present it as a way that they can get effortless results, right? Why can people who do surgeries and liposuction charge 10K, whereas going to the gym is only like $50, like $20, $30, right? Because going to the gym actually takes a lot more effort. It takes a lot more time. It takes a lot more pain, right? It takes a lot more struggle. So if you frame your offer as a quick and easy way to achieve the desired results with little effort, it makes your offer, your product or your service a lot more valuable, right? So we're gonna go into the examples again. So again, we're gonna use the example from Eczema Honey, because this is a really powerful ad. If any ad has been running longer than 2 years, guys, you know this is an amazing ad, right?
It hurts my heart to see Kevin
So we've already done the hook.
flaring up and itching all the time, and there's nothing that I can do to help him. Kevin had terrible eczema and itchiness since birth. He was constantly flared and scratched non-stop at night. I tried everything from corticosteroids and other creams, and nothing really worked. Then
boom. So they got the hook you in with the story angle, with the hook, right? They've got you with the lead to actually consume the rest of the information by hitting on the pain points of the problem and expanding on it. And now they go into actually selling the products, right?
Then I saw an ad for Eczema Honey on my Instagram. I was a bit skeptical. I read some.
Yeah, I was a bit skeptical. So it's addressing objections, right? Because again, a lot of people come in with skepticism when they've tried other solutions to the problem before.
Reviews that like 500,000 people have used it.
500,000 people have used it. Example of what is an example of? Social proof, right?
So I decided to give it a chance. We started using it for 2 days, and you can see that the scratching is gone.
Hitting on the dream outcome.
Because and you can see that give it a chance. We started using it for 2 days.
2 days. Short time delay. Right? You can see how they're implementing all of this in the video.
And you can see that the scratching is gone because the beeswax is intensely moisturized.
Boom. And this is another form of proof because they're showing you actually how this thing works, right? They're revealing the mechanism, right? And then it's another form of proof, right? It's another form of proof. And it increases their credibility because they're using ingredients that have these benefits, right?
And the colloidal oatmeal that calms the redness and acts as a skin protector.
And again, they're calling out the ingredients and what it does, the ingredients and the benefit of what it does, right? And this all of this is to increase their credibility because of the ingredients, and that's really the mechanism, right? And this is how they make their products. So the mechanism and the ingredients is how they make theirs, how they differentiate their solution to other people's solutions, or these steroid creams and stuff, or unnatural things. This is one is using these ingredients that have these certain benefits, and that's why they increase the believability, right? They increase your believability and your trust by showing exactly what the ingredients and which is the mechanism inside the product, what the ingredients do and the benefits of these ingredients, and they show you how it works, which increases your trust and belief in this certain solution.
He's not itching anymore, and we are much calmer.
Dream outcome, much calmer and happier. Again, they talk about a dream outcome. The dream outcome is not only stop itching, the dream outcome is they're a lot happier, right?
It hurts my heart to see Kevin flaring up and itching all the nothing that he's not itching anymore, and we are much calmer and happier. I can't explain how relieved I am.
How relieved I am, right? Again, hitting on the pain points. So you want to, this is the thing, guys. There's one thing, experienced marketers and experienced advertisers and stuff, that people are good at marketing, they sell you the benefits, right? The ones that are the best, they sell you the benefit of the benefit. And that usually leads to how their actually life is better. That leads to the emotions that they'll experience after they've got this certain result and they've got this certain benefit.
When I don't see him itching anymore and crying out for help. I wish I had taken a chance and tried this out sooner instead of using the toxic topical cream so early.
And then that call to action at the end. Cool. Right. Eczema honey. It's an example from Sabri Subi's book, right? So I'm using similar, I'm using some of the examples previously as well to show you how they've put all of these elements together. This has a lot to unpack into it. So let's just go. So it shares his personal story, right? Personal story, success story, right? That's increasing credibility, right? The dream outcome, right? Credibility, fastest growing marketing agency in Australia. So let's just go and consume that. So you can see when I started my business. Let me cancel this. Right. Blah blah blah. 150,000 people per day. Right. Secret selling system. Had more clients that you can possibly handle. Dream outcome. Right. Fastest growing digital marketing agency in Australia. This is an example of how it's increasing the credibility, right? And it's then showing the before and after, like his personal success story, which is also increases the credibility. 7.8 billion in revenue for his clients, again increasing the credibility. And then it's definitely another form of proof too, right? Rush me a free copy. Right, big call to action. Right, I'm gonna cover the call to action after 690 customer reviews, massive amount of social proof, favorite 4.9 out of 5,690 reviews. Right, and then it's got some more social proof with the comments from, this looks like Instagram comments. And it's really great when you have stuff from like native Instagram comments and stuff, because we spend all days on these platforms anyway. So when we see a comment that looks like a Facebook comment, looks like an Instagram comment, IG comment, right? We trust it a lot more because we're on these social platforms. We're very used to and familiar with what those reviews look like, right? It's going his media features that hits on credibility. Right, again here too, right, showing screenshots of like the results, right? There's a lot to unpack here. This is an amazing example of a really, really powerful landing page, because it includes pretty much all of these. It increases the dream outcome. It gives you proof of the perceived likelihood of achievement. It gives you a short time delay and reduces the effort sacrifice, because it shows you exactly how to do it. It has, it adds credibility, right? He has a law with rush me a free copy. It's an amazing offer to get people to drive an action right now, right? He handles objections by providing an overwhelming form of proof, right? Uses social proof, shows you how easy it is, shows you the result of it, right? Cool. So there's actually a lot more that we can unpack on there, but you can see like how he, media publications, video reviews as featured in. He's got pretty much all of these elements on this one long page. And guess what? This probably fucking converts like crazy, right? So, yeah. Cool. And then now we've had the final thing, which is your call to action. And call to action is pretty easy, right? But with your call to action, right, the point is, so now you've gone through the first step of capturing people's attention. You've gone through the lead of then getting them to consume the information and show what's in it for them, right? You've got your stories, which is there to increase their desire and shift beliefs. And now you have their attention, you've retained their attention, right? You've increased their desire for whatever you want. Now, while you have their attention for that short period of time, you need to be extremely clear what action that you want them to take, right? It needs to be simple, straight to the point, and only one thing. You don't want people to be doing multiple things, right? So never ask people to do multiple things at once. Yeah. Never, never, never ask people to do multiple things at once, right? You want to make it simple and be clear for the next action you want them to take, right? We want to direct their attention to where they'll convert or just the next stage down your marketing funnel. So this can be to collect emails, your product page to buy, or even to leave a comment or a DM, right? You want to tell them exactly what action you want them to take to move them further down your funnel. So this example in the Sell Like Crazy book, he says, go, what's the call to action? Rush me a free copy. It's very clear that he doesn't ask you to do anything else, but just get a free copy of the book. Right? Next one is from an ad that we made for our client, right? So let me give you an example of that.
So I saw this not so nice use the entire products and gain more confidence in themselves and are much happier with their skin. Not only that, Ms. Jador, I have a risk-free 60 days money-back guarantee where you can use the entire products. And if you're not amazed on how clear your skin is, send the packaging back to me. Even if it's empty, I will guarantee you get the full refund. We wouldn't be in business or been able to give that guarantee if our products didn't work. So if the product doesn't work for you, it costs us money, not you. So if you have skin issues from acne, hyperpigmentation, dark spot, and even eczema, click the button below to start clearing your skin in days.
Call to action: if you have any skin problems from acne, she's talking about hyperpigmentation, dark spots, right? Click the link. You can see how clear the call to action is. We're not asking them to do multiple things at once. Click the link to start clearing your skin in days. Right? Next one.
Never pay money. We are so confident that if we can't deliver on our new market, you will not pay. So
we're so confident if you don't deliver, you will not
if
pay.
You're ready to get
If you're ready to get 25
or more full remodel requests every single month, then click the button below, see if you qualify, and let's get you guys more high-ticket jobs.
Right? Very clear what you want them to do. Right? If you're ready to get 25 full remodel requests every month, click the button below to see if you get qualified to get more high-ticket jobs. Right? And then in the video also shows you how to actually book, apply as well, which I really like.
Below, see if you qualify, and let's get you guys more high-ticket jobs.
Right, and then it shows a video of actually how to do that process, right? Amazing, right? Cool. So here's a pro tip. You'll convert more if you make your call to action attached to the result that the audience wants. And how do these guys do it here, right? So if you're ready, key thing, if you're ready to get 25 full remodel requests every single month, they attach the benefit to the action that they want them to take. Click the button below. They didn't just say click the button below to they didn't say click the button below. They didn't just say click the button below. They didn't just say click the button below to apply. They said, okay, if you want this benefit, click the button below to apply. Right? It's very clear what they're going to get out of it from sending that application, which is going to help them increase their conversion rate. Right? The one that we scripted out for our client, we give a guarantee and we say, oh, if you're struggling with acne, hyperpigmentation, dark spots, click the button below to start clearing your skin in days, right? We attach the call to action to the benefit that they're going to get from taking that action, which will help you definitely convert more. So that's a pro tip, right? Cool. And if you're really smart about this, then you can start taking some of this principles, right? You can use these principles to come up with a copy. And then you can even use these principles now in the age of AI to start prompting ChatGPT or whatever, or Gemini or DeepSeek or whatever AI tool that you use to help you come up or improve the copy that you've already written, or come up with ideas for copy that you can use, right? And this will do as well as give you a trained eye, because you will see which headlines are probably going to do well, because quite often they'll probably have a combination of some of these elements and some of these different, like headline formulas and angles, right? So for those of you who've watched this entire video, thank you for consuming all of this. This is amazing. Now, what I want you to do, information without work is dead. What I want you to do is start applying this to start increasing your sales, getting more clients, and improving your marketing copy to sell more products, right? So comment below what exactly that you liked about this video, or one of the tips that helps you out the most, or comment down below exactly what headline or what things that you're going to apply to improve your marketing copy as well, right? But yeah, thank you for watching to the end of this video. Hope you gained a lot from it. Like and subscribe for more content like this, right? Have a great day.